Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine. Giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's Mike and Blaine. This is episode 162, and we are getting warmed up. If you didn't see it, we were doing stretches in the background, getting ready for you, getting ready to give you the heat. And we were trying to keep it simple because you know that's what today's all about. So I am Mike Mylan, also known as Cashflow Mike. That is my friend, my partner, the CEO and founder of Dry Run, the best cash flow forecasting software on the planet. Blaine Birch, what's up, man?
Just got to warm up so I can get this nice, smooth movement from my coaster over here to my mouth with my beer.
I broke a little sweat. I shouldn't sweat there. I shouldn't be sweating there, that right? That was kind of weird.
You might need to get a little more activity in your day.
I have to turn up the fan.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're jumping off to a weird start, but first off, though, we got to dive in and what kind of beer you're drinking, because of course is beer and BS. We got to figure out what beer you got going today.
All right, so the whole topic today is simple as hard, right? It's simple as hard, and you know me. I always try to keep things around the Texas. You know, if I can find one, if I can find a new beer somebody I haven't had, got a Texas brewery, I try to go with it. I went with Revolver Brewing today out of Granbury, Texas. It's a blood orange and honey. So it's the orange peel and a honey and some spices. They call it a Texas ale. So we're going to see what it's like. But I thought the simplicity of the, the actual label kind of fit the theme. So that's where I went with simple is better.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I pulled out for two reasons. Now, one is this idea of simplicity. Simple messages, keep things simple. This one is Trillium double dry hopped Public Garden IPA. So I thought, like a garden, there's nothing sort of simpler and nice and relaxing than a garden. But truthfully, the simple answer is I saw it in the fridge and I'm like, I really want that beer. That's good. Damn good beer. So that was actually the reason I picked it. And then I'm just trying to wedge it into the topic today, but it is a really nice beer.
Yeah. Cause I was going to ask you ever done the garden? It's not simple. It's a ton of work. It's like they become your children. Right? They become your children. Like, my plant, what do you need? What do you need, honey? Do you need some more water? You need some fertilizer? You need some food? You need some sun? It's like you're always caring for them.
Oh yeah. Or like my wife and I do, we planted a bunch of herbs in just pots, these big pots up on the deck. And we planted these herbs and it's like, yeah, these would be great. Take them off and use them in salads and everything. And then we planted them and then forgot and did nothing for the rest of the year. And they just kind of looked sort of yellow mostly. And now I'm sure they're just all dead. So gardening was really simple for us. Unfortunately, the results were really, really bad. So I don't think either of us have much of a green thumb. We're just like, oh, hey, I forgot about those herbs. Anyway.
So if you're just tuning in, you don't know what the hell's going on. This is Mike and Blaine. We talk about business, beer, and BS. And at the top of every show, we kind of introduce the beer, right? The beer is not the topic of the show. I've had people ask me, they said, do you guys just talk about beer? No, we just drink beer. Just drink beer. So if you're looking for really, insightful, like deep into knowledge about beer, yeah, wrong show. But if you like to watch two guys drink beer and talk about other people who bought them beer, we do that too.
We do that. And we have, this is I think our biggest list now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beer sponsors. So if you're listening out there, I also want to jump in, make sure you follow, subscribe, don't miss any of our episodes, but you can also sponsor us and you get mentioned just like our 6 beer sponsors are just about to be mentioned. And all you have to do is go to mikeandblaine.com and buy us a beer. Or if you're in San Antonio or Edmonton area or soon Scottsdale area for me, if you drop off beer at a house, you will also be a beer sponsor. And so I'm going to kick it off with Baltimore Mike, the other Mike Mylan, who has hand-delivered beer do both of us, actual bottles and cans. So thanks again, Mike. Just always appreciate it.
I still can't believe that a whole box, I'm talking about a whole box of beer showed up in my house. Just a box of beer. Who's generous enough to do that? Mike Milan.
The Mike Milan, exactly.
There you go.
And Larry Weinstein, best CPA in Texas. Houston, right? He's in Houston, right? Yeah.
He's in Houston.
Yeah. Why I'm asking. I saw Larry not too long ago in Houston. Yeah. Cash Flow Cowboy. And what is his website again?
His new website is the cashflowranch.com. So he is the Cash Flow Cowboy hanging out on the Cash Flow Ranch.
Yeah. So go check him out. Thanks again, Larry. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And hey, on that note, we got Rachel Barnett of Gentle Frog. This is the person. If you have any problems with QuickBooks, if you just like going, I don't understand it. I don't know what they're asking me. I don't know what I'm doing with QuickBooks. Contact Rachel Barnett over at Gentle Frog. She will square you away and get you running on QuickBooks fast.
Yeah, and Jackie York is back and has we got 5 episodes with Jackie. She was with us before, CFO Jackie York. What is Jackie's website again? We got to make sure we let everybody know.
bloomingcfo.com, right? Blooming CFO. She's she's niched in. I mean, if you're landscaping, if you're gardening, these type of things, she knows how to manage from plant to harvest, right? I mean, and even if you're not doing that, maybe you're buying it from an outsourced person. Jackie can help you manage cash flow to make sure you have the right plant at the right time with the right amount of money.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again, Jackie. Really appreciate it. And we got 2 more, but they're both like really literally probably within feet or block of you right now. So I'm going to let you.
They're within feet of me. Like, one of them, surprise beer sponsor of the year. I will say that. Yep. Surprise beer sponsor of the year. Matter of fact, she said, don't talk about me. Don't bring it up. I just did it because I want to support you. I just am trying to support the show. Don't say my name. Don't do it, whatever. So Courtney, oh, wait, say it. I'm not supposed to say her name. Thanks, Courtney. I don't know what else to say. How do I not get in trouble on this episode?
Yeah. Just whisper it. I'll mention you. It's in your earphones. Thanks, Courtney.
Yeah. Courtney. Let's see if she hears that. Anyway, the other one is Neighbor Pat. And you guys know, if you've listened to any of these shows, we talk about Neighbor Pat every single time. He is there's that one, if this was old school wrestling, there was always the hero that came out and body slammed the bad guy. Pat's the bad guy. The one that always gets body slammed. I'm talking about that in cornhole. But here's what I can tell you he's a champion at, and he would be body slamming me if I was trying to compete with him in making beer. This guy can make beer like nobody's business. He makes it in his garage, folks. I'm talking about in his garage. But he doesn't just make it in the garage. This guy bottles it in growlers, prints his own labels. I mean, absolutely goes over the top, wants to deliver a good product every time, and he's got one brewing right now. So I can't wait to have it next time.
Awesome. Thanks, Pat. Love to try your beer one of these days. I'll have to make it out to Texas sometime here so I can try your beer.
Yeah,
and hang out with Mike and Courtney.
You went to Houston Houston. We call it Houston up here. Like
I know I was sort of in the hood, but yeah.
No, wait a second. You've been to Austin too. You've been everywhere. If there's a golden triangle, you've been to 2 of the 3 corners of the triangle, and not the third one.
I know. We will have to hop on a plane and come out to San Antonio one of these days here. So, and I know that you guys may be coming to Scottsdale this year too, which is awesome. So,
hey, definitely. And by the way, they just asked me, Arizona Small Business Association. So if you right now are living in or around Phoenix area, end of January, be looking for the exact date and the exact details, but I am doing a seminar, a 1-day seminar. So think about 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, all cash flow related, sponsored by the National Bank Arizona, sponsored by the Arizona Small Business Association. Come see it, because the room they're putting us in is 100 to 150 folks, business owners.
Nice.
You're going to get 3 things from me. I mean, not only just the training, you're going to get a participant workbook to go through it right by hand, so we can all learn the concepts. and a copy of two of my books. You're going to get Don't Be a Dumb Business Owner, and you're going to get 7-Minute Conversation just for coming to this event. It's going to be one of a kind. I'm really excited about this in January.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing you. And obviously everyone at that session is going to be well worth your time, well worth every minute you're there. So, but let's dive into this topic. So I saw the topic. I saw it, it popped up on our list today, and we're talking about simple. And you know what? I love that topic because that is just simple is hard, but it is really effective. And so I thought this was a terrific topic to dive into.
Both you and I's business today is centered around how can I tell a story as concise but valuable at the same time, and without boring people, not boring people, confusing people, overindulging people, or overwhelming people.
Yep.
And so my app is that way. My course is that way. Your app is that way. But today I heard a story. This is where this comes. If you don't know about this show already, I make up the topic like 10 minutes before. Blaine can even see me typing sometimes on the Google sheet. You saw me typing? So you can see that I'm like, oh, he's working on it. He's doing this. So I listened to an answer that Elon Musk gave a decade ago about how PayPal became dominant in the payments industry. And this thing is like it's been one of those things I'm going, holy shit, it was that simple. Because you got to remember, this is the beginning of what they called at the time email payments, right? E-payments, whatever, email payments, electronic payments. But he was calling it then email payments. And he said there were competitors in the space. There was like 5 or so competitors, and 2 of the big competitors got bought. One of them by eBay. I forgot who bought the other one, but one of them got bought by eBay, and eBay took this payments processor and put it inside eBay. So it was like going pay by eBay or whatever they did. Well, he said the biggest challenge at the time was not depositing money in somebody's account. It was withdrawing it. Right. Being able to go into a bank, because there was no authentication process for going into your bank account. So think about that. If I knew your bank account number, Blaine, I could type it in and say, hey, deposit money here, right? Or take money from here and deposit it in somewhere else, like from your account to my account.
Yeah.
So that was where banks stalled that whole process. They're like, oh, no, we don't know who's doing this. Do you know how they fixed it? It was like once I figured out what they did, I'm like going, holy shit, that's the simplest thing I've ever heard. And it works in it's still used it today, in a lot of ways. So here's what happened. Have you ever signed up for something, we'll say PayPal, and to verify your bank account that you're the owner of it, they put 2 small deposits in your account? Like 17 cents and 22 cents.
Yeah.
Right. And then what do you got to do next? You have to go back to the originating website and go, how much was the deposit? So now they know that you own the account. You saw the deposits come in and you enter in the amounts. Those amounts aren't just dollar amounts that they were giving away to you, right? Because they get the money back. Those generated a PIN number. So if it was 17 and 22, that was your PIN number.
Oh, wow.
It was a 4-digit PIN that's what they come up with. How do I verify it's you? I give you a PIN number the same way we do now with all transactions with the PIN number. That was probably the origination of a 4-digit PIN that they used on all transactions after that.
Wow. Clever.
Right? Think about this.
It's the amazing thing is how simple that is. And when you look at how complicated they could have made it. And honestly, I bet in the first meeting, it started complicated because it never starts simple. You have to work and grind and understand to get to simple. So I can imagine how many meetings, how many people were involved, and how many complicated iterations they went through till they just got down to this really elegant answer.
I'll tell you where they started. right? And first of all, you're right. Our instinct, and I think I wrote it in the description, is to be more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
What they wanted to happen was back then, we're saying almost 20 years ago now, back then, you had to physically go into the bank and verify that that's what you were authorizing it somehow with a signature.
Yeah.
That's where it started. We have to have people go verify that they own this account before they can have a PayPal account. And they're like, oh, well, why are we doing that? Why are we forcing people to get in their car, leave their house, leave their computer, and go somewhere else when we can probably come up with a way to verify it's you, where I'm sending only you to your account this small amount. So even if they got beat on it, they were out 20 cents.
Yeah.
Well,
and the other thing is, it's not just altruistic. Like, it wasn't like, well, let's just make it easier for people. They probably, I'm guessing, realized or did some testing early on and went, oh, it's hard to get people to drive down to their bank. Even if they're going there every once in a while, it's hard. How do we lower friction? Because people can talk. Yeah. No, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And then they don't. So it's like, how do you get down to this? Just so easy. They can't help but do it. Right.
Oh, and I'm sure they struggle with that. Like going, yeah, but it's so long. They want to make a purchase today. Mm-hmm. But they got to wait 2 weeks before they get to the bank, before they can make that purchase. And then that just slows down their money stream because of the fees attached to the transaction. And, you're right. It was two things. One, to reduce friction for the customer, but two, to make more money for them, right? The speed of the transaction mattered.
Yeah. And I'm going to say, like, and I don't know where it comes into sort of this sort of area, but I know with us, with dry run, when we're always looking to be able to try and simplify things and understand where we've added friction and where there's some confusion in that. And there's nothing more effective than talking with your customers. Like, that's where all the answers are. They may not sort of tell you the answer, but as you talk with them and see how they do things or watch how they do things, and you gather this data, you're talking with your customer, that's where those answers come from. I don't think I should have said, like, it's not, I don't think it was a bunch of people sitting in a boardroom. I think there had to have been a lot of input from outside. And there's a good chance with PayPal, they were talking with their customers, and it's the same ones that go, I don't feel like driving down to the bank. I'll do it later. And through those conversations, probably there's a bit of an aha moment. Like,
how do we make
here's
this
how we
faster?
can get them to do it, because it was probably, you have to get them while they're hot. Like, hey, sign up for the PayPal account. You need them to do something right there. You need to get them far enough along that they're invested, and it's got to be simple enough. And then when it comes down to it, and you're just confirming it in your bank account or whatever, it's still really easy. It's just like, log into your account, take a look. Like, we're talking 30 seconds, and you've got the rest of it set up, but you've invested a whole bunch already. So you're kind of like, yeah, I'm willing to put in the 30 seconds to take a look. It's such a challenge. Like, we've worked with, I know you have too. It's simple is hard. We say it all the time. Simple is hard. And I know as a team, like, there have been times I know there's just a couple of weeks ago, we were trying to figure something out. And I got to tell you, by the end of the day, we had gone through a lot of iterations. We had all these meetings. We were trying to figure something out, all these mock-ups and everything. I had such a screaming headache by the end of the day. I just about felt nauseous. I just was like, I can't take anymore. But then when we got up the next day, and it's like the fog's lifted, and it's like, yeah, but we got the answer. We found somewhere along the way what we thought was the simplest, and it seemed to be the right fit, but we just don't jump on it. We still had to kind of acid test it and go, is this the right way? And then when we got through all of that, we kind of went, yeah, okay, we validated that is the best way. It's simple, it's clear. It was hard, epically hard to get there.
All right, so, on occasion I coach, like, a young entrepreneur that's going to the pitch competition at the university I teach at. And today I had one of those coaching sessions, and the guy goes, I've got 2 instructors I think are the best at this. And I was one, and there's a marketing professor that he thought was the other. And he goes, what happens in regular marketing classes, not from you or you, meaning the two people who actually do it every day. It's the person that teaches it every day that does it. And I don't want to discount, people that teach, but it's like when you're teaching a book versus this is what I did yesterday.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. There's a big difference. Yeah. And hey, here's what I had to change in I had to change Facebook posts today. I got flagged in my own group for putting a link in my post. You won't know that if you go to a marketing class in, at a university, that, hey, don't put links in your post because they said it was spam. I was spamming my group with this link, but I could put it in the comments. I'm like going, wait a second, this isn't a spam thing. It's like going, this is an event that they signed up for, that they want to know where the link is. And I just made it easier instead of going to my website. Here's the link for our 2:00 event. It's like, it's a group coaching meeting that many of them have already paid for. I just made it easier for them to click. That's not spam.
No.
Everybody in the group has volunteered to be in the group and know that's what I do. So anyway, but I had to change that because I got flagged by some Autobot.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating part because you're trying to make it easier for people, make it simple. And the Facebook bot is trying to prevent people from leaving as much as they can. And it's like the clash of culture right there, business culture, right? And what those goals are.
All right. So what this student said today was, in the basic marketing class, the ones that you have to take, not the ones from like part-time professors like me, they want all these in-depth customer interviews, and there's so much prep work that goes in. But then by the time you do all this work, so much time has passed and you're really confused now because there's too much information has come in. And what you two are saying, the people that do it, saying, well, sometimes you just got to go test 2 or 3 things. Go put out some posters. Go do this. Go do that. And then once people start to come in and sign up and use it, get the users' feedback. They're asking them to get people that don't know anything about you. And they're building a perfect, this is his words. And I'm like, going, shit, that was really good. He says, the people I talk to, I explain what I want to do, and they don't have the product. They don't know anything about it. They're not users. They're building the perfect product in their head of what they think I said.
Yeah.
But that might not be even what I built. Right? Because they haven't had their hands on it. Can't use it. It's like, go ahead.
Well, and like I was just gonna say, like I had an experience. I was meeting with a CFO last week, the week before, something like that, and talk, just demoing dry run, and there's a point where it's like I'm almost like, ooh, is this too simple? Are they going to think we're too simple? Is it going to translate to what they're looking for? And so I actually had a little bit of apprehension because, we're kind of, one of our things is, let's make it at the base level, the highest level, simplest view for management teams, for the CEO and that management team. At a glance, they should know what's going on. But I wanted to see how they would respond, and like still a little bit apprehensive. And I was kind of showing this, and she actually looked at what, yeah, we need more high level than that. And I went, click. And she went, oh yeah. So like click. And it went really simple. Then she goes, oh yeah, that's what we need. That's what the CEO wants. And I'm like, whew, like, but it was, this is a struggle that and you'll see people do this mistake all the time, is simple is hard. But what happens is they'll have something that's actually not too bad. That's pretty simple. And there's this compulsion to make it more complicated because somehow it feels like it might be worth more. It's complicate things and it's, bullshit baffles brains kind of idea, right?
Well, that's exactly what's happening in my app right now. I don't have an integration because I've minimized the inputs to just a few numbers that you need for a specific calculation. Mm-hmm. And it's faster just to go, hey, tell me what that number is. And in 35 seconds, we got the exact numbers we need and nothing more.
Yeah.
Right? We've cleared the noise. We've taken away all the other stuff that just distracts us and said, this is what's important, these numbers, to get to the next step, which might be more in-depth analysis.
Yep.
But there are people that are like going, you don't integrate with anything? I'm like going, no, because every time I integrated with somebody else was mad, right? So I started off with manual entry. I'm like going, I did QuickBooks, 0 people were mad. Then Sage people were mad. Then like everybody was mad. Oh, you do all those 10, but you don't do my 2. You never made anybody happy. You know how to make everybody happy? Type it in. Everybody can use it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's literally that simple. One of the most valuable things that I found in our team is found the question we ask quite often. And you know exactly when it happens. You're talking with someone and they're just, you call them the 2 more things or whatever.
2 more.
Like they're just always need 2 more things, 2 more things. And they'll be saying like, well, does it, it's like, does it do the magic carpet right? Like they ask for the world, right? And then what I come back with is, well, how are you doing it now? Because I want to know, how are you doing it now? Because generally they're trying to do something simply. So it's like, well, I'm just basically like, entering 4 numbers in a spreadsheet. Well, okay, let's start there, right? Because it's this compulsion. We need all of this. Do you? What do you do now? Nothing like that at all. And it's this, I don't know, innate desire to overcomplicate things, I think.
No, when I had the 2 mores, I always thought it was them trying to come up with a reason not to buy. Oh, this product would be perfect if it just had 2 more things.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it does 98% more than you do now, that 2%. That 2% would make it perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're already doing 98% more.
I think sometimes it's an excuse not to buy, but sometimes it's just the wrong person, the wrong lead, right? Because I know when we've got the right ones where it's like, oh my God, we spend, as a team, it's like hours flushed down the toilet every single week. And it's like that, when they're chomping at the bit to use us and everything, that it's like, it's a different feel than the ones that they're trying to find the excuse. They're trying to find a reason. They're not like, you got to take a lot of that stuff with a grain of salt, because you can get pulled down the wrong path. We have in the past, you get pulled down the wrong path by listening to people that are just not really your customer, or not really your perfect customer. They're just kind of the wrong fit, right? And that's, if they start overcomplicating things and they don't value simple, they're probably maybe not the right fit, right?
Yeah. So here's how I started with trying to be more simple, and I think I have an advantage because I grew up in a small town in Illinois and lived in Missouri for 25 years. I think that people speak more simply, more concise. They're more, I don't know, what is it with their words? They're more condensed with their words. So they try to use the right word. Yeah, concise. And because of that, you learn how to just talk in a way that people kind of get it instantly. Mm-hmm. Right? You say things like, oh, I get it. Right. It's okay to think outside the box, but when you talk to somebody else, you've got to give them a box so they're there, right?
Yeah.
With you, right? It's the reason why we use words like phonograph. The original phonograph, people did not understand what we were trying to do. It was just a dashboard of ratios, not a dashboard what they were used to building in their business. It was a dashboard that bankers used, right? So it was way different. And what we described it is it's like a Carfax for your business. It was telling you all the stuff that you didn't want to say. It would just say it, right? Yeah. This thing's been in an accident. They don't get paid very fast. Those type of things, right? And just that one word, even though it was so new, it was thinking outside the box. The words like a Carfax, people go, oh, that means I'm going to know everything about the history of this car very easily, in one report.
Yeah.
Made a difference. And you see that over and over and over again. That's one of the simplicity techniques I think really helps a small business owner if they can connect to something somebody already knows.
Yeah. And you help small businesses with exactly that. And I think you should actually tell people how you help them.
Well, see, here's the thing. You're off. I'm the oddball now, and this is 162.
Oh. Blaine did not.
So
I was thinking it was 161.
So stick to your knitting, my man, and get on your high horse and tell us about Dry Run.
So I was getting shit last week for not doing a good segue. So I was trying to go like smooth in the segue, but I guess I kind of screwed up because it wasn't even your week. It was my week. So, okay. So I'm going to, well, after butchering that, let's simplify these things down to why you should come and talk with us at Dry Run. And we're going to simplify your life. If you're a CFO, if you're working with a finance team, or you're a fractional CFO and you're advising a business with the CEO and you know, probably some other people in the organization, we are going to make your life much simpler when you're trying to figure out your cash flow. So when you are struggling with some sort of complication that's forcing you to just get buried in these spreadsheets, whether there's lots of people involved, lots of entities involved, maybe multiple currencies involved, come to us because we're going to help take that pain away. We will simplify things down. I know we're talking with an organization right now, this testing Dry Run, that we're saving them 60 to 70 hours a week with their finance team. But the most important thing is at the end, the CFO isn't feeling such a high level of pain. He can just look at the numbers. He can look at a graph and go, this is what I got to do. And it's just alleviating that pain by simplifying all of this complexity in their business. So come and see us at dryrun.com and we'll help you guys out.
And I got to tell you, if you haven't tried it, if you haven't talked to them, if you haven't seen it, go to dryrun.com. I am this much committed to this product. I think it has the legs to really change the way businesses, mid-sized businesses and larger, do business, right? I mean, it's really giving clarity that they didn't have before. It
is the coolest fiddle hopper on the block.
Yeah. Man, you're really forcing it, but I like it.
I'm trying.
All right, so as you can tell, we don't plan, we don't prepare. Apparently, we don't even talk about whose sponsorship week it is.
Don't even know what episode it is. That was my problem today.
Here I'm looking for a place to set you up, and then what? Why are you setting me up?
I did not. I was thinking 161. I was totally thinking 161 the entire time. And so, we're on 162. So there we go. Hey, exciting.
Hey, first of all, congratulations on 162, because this is season 4 is coming down to the end. We're going to start season 5 in January.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
And we're getting close to that 200. We won't make it by the end of the year, but we're getting close to that 200. It'll be probably Q1, Q2 of next year, and we're going to have the big 200 bash. I'm not sure we'll do for a bash, but
think about how many podcasts don't make it to 100. And we're on the closing end, going towards 200, right? It's just one of those things. And I'm still getting subscribers. I talked to somebody today in a group meeting. She says, "Oh, I just followed you right now." Another person says, "Oh, you're on YouTube?" Yeah, we're on YouTube. And she goes, "Oh, I'm going to subscribe to YouTube." We're not great. I'll tell you this: we're not great at asking for your support. I'll tell you that.
No, we're not. No.
If you look at our numbers individually, if you look at any of the channels we're on, they're just okay. Collectively, they're kind of really good.
Bad. Yeah, because we have lots of people like watching us live. We're on a bunch of different networks and that all at once, and we do very little to. We keep it very simple with our promotion, which is kind of not a whole lot, but it just keeps continuing to build and love it. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah, we opted for word of mouth. I tell somebody, you tell somebody, and then think about it. All of our subscribers, all of our downloads had probably met us or heard us before.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a crazy statistic to think that you're that close to everybody listening.
Yeah, which is also a little odd sometimes when you're, walking down the street or talking with a friend and they start talking about some episode that I can't remember, but it's
I just called neighbor Breger on that before. I'm like, hey, you must not be listening. He goes, what do you mean? I'm like, because usually you'll come up with some random thing from episode 75 that I forgot I said.
Exactly. Yeah.
He goes, I haven't listened in a while. So he'll get back on it. So,
yeah. So I want to dive in here a little bit because we've been talking about simplicity, and we've been talking a lot about like in your product, in your app, in your service, right? I want to veer us back a little bit because simplicity is so incredibly important in messaging, which we talk about a lot. So whether it's your how you, and I'm saying this because I see this every week. I see businesses that are doing a really good job and some are doing a very poor job of simplifying what their offer is, simplifying what, and we struggle with a lot, simplifying that message, the slogan, the what do you offer? How do you help people? What problem do you solve? And it's a challenge. It's really challenging, especially as things evolve, right? I struggle with it myself all the time,
I'd like to think that we're not judgy people, but we are. You judge people off of the first things that they say. Yep. Oh, that's not for me. What is that? That's interesting. In the first 15 seconds, you got to get somebody to go, no shit, how? That's the goal. If I can get you to say that, then you'll want to learn more. And then I can go into a pitch. I was so lucky, so lucky with this branding name. And I know that now after spending a couple of weeks in conferences and sitting at a booth. Some people don't even think I'm Cashflow Mike. They think I work for Cashflow Mike, the company. They think it's just a company that I just work for. And I'm like going, how cool is that? A nickname that a banker gave you, almost 10 years ago becomes a brand that now I'm not even a character in the play anymore. But it was so weird for people to say that, like on Cashflow Mike. Like, well, do you work for him? How do you know? How do you know Cashflow Mike? I'm like, that point behind him, like, my picture's on the.
It's not the giant overlord.
Like my picture's on the wall, right behind on the booth. My picture's on the booth. It's me. They go, holy shit, you're Cashflow Mike. I'm like, yeah. You're looking at the whole team right here. Not really. I mean, we got some other folks, but it's one of those things that the message has to be connected to a problem every time. Yeah. Because everybody that talks, nobody wants to buy shit. They just don't want to buy. I mean, sometimes you're like, I want that new shirt. But if you're talking about things like you and I do, software or consulting or coaching or whatever, people don't want to buy that. They're compelled to buy it. They go, I don't think I can be better without it. Mm-hmm. Well, how do you get somebody to say that? I can't be better. I can't move my company better without dry run, where I can get the clarity to make decisions faster. Mm-hmm. Right? Dry run to me, I've taken your story about the bus, and I've really expanded this bus to saying, hey, all forecasting is going to do is tell you that the bus is coming. What you need to do next is, how do I get the bus to slow down? How do I get the bus to stop? How do I get to turn and not even come down my street? That's the thing. So I've taken your story that you put in your book, Chronic Cash Flow.
Chronic Cash Flow, yeah.
I got it right. See, come on. I got it right? I'm like, Chronic Cash Flow. It's a story in there that I learned about the bus. I'm like, going, shit, that's a perfect analogy. Because I ask people all the time, I say, what do you do when you cross the street? Or I would look both ways. Why do you do that? Because the bus is coming. You see the power of that story? It's simple. Everybody stood on the street. Everybody has looked both ways. Everybody has seen a car coming and knew that they had different options depending on how far away that car was. You can run, you can walk, you can TikTok, you can crawl, you can kiss your girl in the middle of the street. Doesn't matter. But the closer it gets, the less of those options go away. Sometimes your only option is to do nothing. That's the power of what you do at Dry Run is you see the bus as far out as you'll allow them to see.
Yeah.
And now what they have to do is make the bus turn.
Yeah. Yeah. It's magic when you see far enough ahead what's happening in business. For any business, it's magic. When the last thing you want are those surprises, those nasty surprises, right? That's when things get complicated real quick.
I think the point of me saying that was that story is evidence of simplicity, is evidence of connecting it's something that we all know, that we all kind of have an experience with, and bringing it to, the real life situation, the product, whatever it is. You know how you look both ways? Well, why do you look both ways? So I don't get hit by a bus. Yeah, that's what we do at Dry Run. We make sure you don't get hit by the bus, and here's how we do it.
Yeah,
there's no fucking simpler way to explain that.
Yeah, it's a simple, and going back to what I don't remember exactly what I wrote in the book, but it was basically, if you step off the curb in front of a bus, it makes a big difference if the bus is right there, or if it's 3 blocks down. So if you see it and the bus is 3 blocks down, you have all sorts of options. But if you're not looking down the road, if you're not looking both ways and you step off that curb in front of the bus, you got no options. You just have no options. And that's same thing with the business, is the further out you see, the more options you have. And if you aren't paying attention at all, could get schmucked. That's just how it is, right?
So I stole that from you, and I think I give you credit maybe 15% of the time. I'm kidding. I actually tell people, hey, fucking Blaine said this.
It's quite all right. It was just a little thought that popped in my head and ended up in the book. So yeah,
that was a good one. All right. So with me, what I try to do is, all right. So as a trooper, this is the weird thing about my life, is that you never thought your first job has as much impact on you as it does, but your first job out of college shapes the way you think about other things. And I spent 7 years in this job. So of course that's a major, in my mid 50s now. So 7 years is a big chunk of time, that I spent in one position. But with that, what I learned was the way you speak to others really accelerates understanding, and it accelerates a motivation to act. The way you speak to people, right? So, and I think just being a farm kid from Illinois, and then working with just the regular people. You got to remember, the state trooper's job is to deal with people at their worst possible moment. Nobody's ever fucking happy to see a state trooper. They're just not. Even if they're there to help you, that means you're still in trouble. You're just not happy. So being able to talk to folks at their worst possible moment is probably one of the skills that I think everybody should develop, is just even your friends and your family, your daughter, whoever. If you can talk to somebody in their worst moment, you can find a way to simplify everything around it, because the more complex you make chaos around a person in chaos, right, you've doubled chaos. Right? Now I got to deal with not only the problem, now this trooper's causing me all this extra problem. You're not there to cause an extra problem. You're there to help them solve the original problem, and you got to simplify it down to the root cause.
Yeah.
In that case, well, that's the skill that I think I learned that's now inherent in the way I act as a business owner, as a consultant.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing how, some of these things seem like they're small things, but simplifying down to the taking away some of the clutter and simplifying down to a clear message, a clear priority, a clear direction, and communicating it really well can be the difference between success and failure for any size business. that complication, that overcomplicating things, that clutter, that noise, it just makes everybody aimless. And so that's one of the things that I'm sure that is probably one of the best skills from CEOs across the globe is being able to communicate and simplify, and because that's what you need to bring that direction and presence to what's happening in the business.
Yeah. So you remember when I said where it's okay to think outside the box, but you have to give somebody a box to think about, right? Mm-hmm. So when you were talking just now, am I going, shit, Henry Ford was the master at this. You remember the story of Henry Ford saying, if I asked people what they wanted, they would have told me I wanted a faster horse. They could never envision that there was a possibility of a car out there that didn't need a horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the way he said that is just so simple. It's like going, yeah, if I'd asked people what they wanted, they said they wanted a faster horse. And I had to explain, what this automobile was going to be like and what was going to do to the world.
Yeah. And yet that automobile that he created was something that was really, in a way, it was familiar and it was simple. Like he just was like, it's pretty much a wagon that you're familiar with already. It steers just like you're familiar with already. It's got seats just like you're familiar with already. The one thing it does is it has a motor instead of a horse that moves you forward. But it's not like every single thing was different. It was like, just keep it simple, do what they're already familiar with.
Hey, and what did they call the power of the engine?
Oh, horsepower. Yeah. Is that where it comes from?
Yeah, I think so. It has the force and momentum of that many horses.
Yeah. I love how you said, think so. Yeah, I think so. We really don't know.
I think so. I don't know.
Hey, if you're listening to this show, you will know that don't follow us for your, history class. I wouldn't write a paper on that without double checking, because I don't really know if that's the case, but it sounds good. It sounds rational. It sounds simple. I like the connection, even if it's complete load of crap.
I think so. Let's take it. Yeah. James Watt. Customers were already familiar with horse-powered engines, such as in mills or transportation. And he estimated that one horse could do 33 foot-pounds of work per minute. Yeah, it definitely is. Dude, oh my God. I don't know if I knew that or if I guessed, but we were right.
But that's not Henry Ford. Who is that? But it was related.
That's why they use it in that. It's related. It's James Watt, the guy that watts amps.
Watt. Okay.
Yeah. So he probably knows something about electricity.
Yeah.
And power.
Okay.
Yeah. Guy named James Watts.
So I just think it's hilarious because I'm thinking, like, is it overkill to have like 400 horses just galloping in front of the car? Like, that seems like a lot, actually.
I don't think in real life 400 horses would not get you to 0 to 60 in 4 seconds or whatever hell that is now. 2.5 seconds.
No, they wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't, because in an engine it's cumulative as opposed to consecutive, or what's that? Concurrent.
Yes, but there is the how much of the 0 to 60 is actually it's actually not horse, but like it's the torque probably is a big part of that first amount of pickup before it starts getting into the horsepower. I have no idea.
No, but no one horse can go over what, 30 miles an hour. So if I bundle 400 of them, I still don't go over 30 miles an hour. I just go there faster.
Yeah. Well, no, I guess it depends how you add the horses up.
But you know what I mean?
Horses worth 60 miles an hour, or is it like, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, but I can't put just a line of 400 horses and say go. They will still only hit a maximum speed of 30 miles an hour or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, Does horsepower make any sense at all today?
It's
Like,
cool
does
ass
anyone
term.
have?
It's cool. Yeah, it's cool. It's fucking cool.
It is. It's cool, but it really like it doesn't have. Can anyone relate to it at all?
Can you relate to amps or ohms or watts?
No, but I feel like there's got to be a very dull, yet easy to understand way in metric to do like some kind of horsepower related power thing, because we know like the rest of the world is on metric, and it's just like 10, 100, 1, 10, 100,000. Like it's just boring, but it just all matches, right? And I'm wondering if there's actually some sort of measurement that has replaced horsepower, but no one uses it because it's boring and kind of not cool. I'm not sure.
Probably nobody's tried it. It just works, right? It's the origin of power.
We should come up with a new one.
I should. We should. All right. We'll try it.
Yeah, we should come up with a new one. I think it should be like grizzly power or something, because horses are fine, but man, wouldn't it be cool to go like, yeah, except my car is like, 800 grizzly.
Yeah, that's a reach. That's a reach. That's a reach. Because nobody knows what a grizzly can do. You see a horse.
Yeah, but do you know what a horse can do?
You've seen horses pull wagons. It makes more sense that way.
Oh, that's so boring.
You've seen horses go around in a circle and run a mill, right?
Also boring.
Also boring.
Also boring.
What can a grizzly do besides eat and kill?
Okay, but I am going to. You can sense the power, right, and the speed. But I'm going to say, what kind of horse? Because a horse is not a standard unit of measurement. So you have these mini horses that are basically like a little pony, and then you have the Clydesdales that are like and we're not talking they're twice as big. It's like a Clydesdale to some of these little horses is probably 10, 15, 20 times the size. So I wonder what horse they were actually like basing this on.
It's probably a 15 hands horse. That's how they measure a horse, right? Damn it, I'm going to ask Chelsea.
I also don't think a hand is a standard unit of measurement. It is in horses. I get it, but like the hand itself, they're all different sizes. So it's man, how did people get along in life like before they had some sort of standard use?
They stopped arguing the dumb shit. They kept it simple. People believed more back then than we believe today.
Well, the width of a train track is literally 2 horse asses wide, because the width of the train track is based on the width of the standard width of wagons, basically, that would be behind horses, and the size of the wagon was based on the width of the horses as they would pull them forward. So literally today's trains are based on 2 ass widths of horses.
All right, so the standard that James Watt used for horsepower is on his observation of draft horses. And at the time, those were larger and stronger horses used for pulling plows or turning mill wheels. So that's what the horse is in horsepower. It's a draft horse, which I can't tell you what a draft horse is. All right. So interestingly, though, here's what's interesting: that most horses can only sustain that power for a limited amount of time, meaning that horsepower is an overestimation of the actual horse's performance.
I would say like a draft horse is probably those ones that pull the Budweiser wagon that's full of draft.
Yeah, like a Clydesdale. Yeah. I don't know.
Could be.
You said draft horse, so maybe it is. The bigger, stronger ones. I don't think the racing type horses are doing that.
Yeah.
Thoroughbreds. All right, so the worst thing that 2 people that know math can do is talk about what horses can do or what they are, who they are.
Yeah, we have offered nothing in relation to furthering the knowledge and horsepower.
This has been 90 seconds of the most BS we've ever put in the show, and because of that,
I don't know about that.
Okay, but because it's we're talking about so much BS now. Let's go ahead and thank beer sponsors. You know, all 6 of you. I mean, Larry, Rachel, Courtney, Pat, Mike, Jackie, all of you guys. We love you. We're very grateful that you put your time and energy in us. Tell your friends, subscribe, like. What else can they do?
Follow us, and you can also buy us a beer at mikeandblaine.com, and it can be the 7th. What would be super cool is, okay, I'm stretching here, but it would be really cool to have 10 in one episode. So if you guys are out there and listening, I know we're right at the end. You probably bailed by now, but if you're listening, get 2 other friends, buy us a beer so we can actually do 10 sponsors in one episode. It'd be $15.
Yeah. If you think it's expensive, it's $5 an episode. $5. That's all it takes. That's buying us a beer. That's what we mean. We literally mean buy us a beer.
Exactly. So go to mikeandblaine.com. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, and don't miss any episodes. But thanks for joining us, everybody.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.